So a lot of things have changed because of coronavirus, and it's funny, beginning my video with that word, I already know I've been demonetized, but you know how it is.
I don't give a shit about money.
Coronavirus has changed so many things, including the tech industry, because the tech industry during this time of year typically has Techtember and Tech October and all of these fall events. But this year things have been different because these summer and fall events have had to change because of a global pandemic. These companies have to have what are usually live events pre-recorded or live streamed or something else entirely. So in this video, I want to run down each company's approach so far and how successful it's been. So let's start with OnePlus. In case you're not familiar, OnePlus is a spin-off of the Chinese phone maker Oppo, who makes enthusiast Android phones like the OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro, and they make generally pretty good phones. And they launched a cheaper phone called the OnePlus Nord this year, and they did it with an augmented reality launch event. And when I heard about this at first, I groaned because I could imagine how gimmicky it would be. And looking at the recaps, I didn't actually watch it live, it actually looks okay. Now, it was kind of not super accessible because who is gonna do AR for a live stream, and you had to hold your phone in some certain way, but it was an interesting way for OnePlus to attract buzz, and because they were only launching one device, which was their new Nord smartphone, I think it tended to work pretty well for this event because they were able to so successfully show off the phone. Basically, the augmented reality experience was you see the phone in front of you and they have some specs and things coming out of it. So for a simplistic event like that, I think it actually went beyond being a gimmick and was cool, and I need enough marketing exercise. Then you have Samsung, and Samsung, what have you done? Now, Samsung puts on pretty extravagant live shows usually, but of course they couldn't do that this year. So what did Samsung do? Samsung had their Unpacked event where they usually launch stuff like the Galaxy Note, and they had it as a live stream, and this was questionable, to say the least, because they didn't do a great job of it. One, they had really staged speakers, because you know how like companies like Apple will bring out someone who actually worked on the product to talk about the product? Well, Samsung had clearly paid actors talking about specs and things that they had no idea what they were. They were just reading stuff out of a teleprompter. And I don't think that worked very well. It wasn't very convincing. And to be honest, the video quality of the speakers in many cases was not good. They were against a white background, which, you know, dull and boring, but I guess you can do it professionally. But Samsung's video quality was amateurish for, you know, a huge conglomerate. I mean, not to brag or anything, but I'm a broke college student here, and I'm pretty sure I have significantly better video than what Samsung did at that event. It was shameful. And they inserted a few pre-produced ads, very Apple style, and I think that worked successfully enough. But overall, I think the organization of their online event did not go very well. Google is interesting because they actually refused to do an event when they launched their Pixel 4a, which was a really hotly anticipated, also low-cost smartphone. What Google did is just not have an event. They launched a smartphone later than everyone expected. There were plenty of leaks with a video, with an ad, and then they let reviewers get their hands on it pretty shortly after. So not bad, but come on, Google. Let's try to put on a show next time. Microsoft, so they had a press briefing. This wasn't actually for the public, this was for the press, but it was made public later. And you know what? It was pretty good. Panos Panay, their product lead, was talking about their products, namely the Surface Duo, which was the exciting folding phone they showed off. And it was cool. Their dual screen phone, he showed it off, he had passion, he knew what he was talking about. It was informal, kind of like this video where I'm going ad-lib, I'm not reading off a script. Microsoft's video was very much like that. I don't think their video quality was as great as it could have been. It wasn't bad like Samsung's, but just a note for next time, Microsoft. But overall, they did a good job, and I thought it was a good combination of being professional while also being casual and informal. Then they also actually launched Xbox as much more recently. They didn't launch them, but they talked about the new upcoming Xbox Series X and Series S by giving a bunch of YouTubers plastic versions of them, basically shells without the actual console insides, to let people talk about the new game console. So that's something. That's not really an event, but I thought I'd mention that because I think it's interesting that Microsoft is doing the approach of letting people talk about hardware without actually using it. Anyways, Nvidia, I think, did really well because when they launched their new graphics cards, Nvidia, in case you don't know, big graphics card company, they showed people at home in their setups. They showed streamers, they had talked to gamers, their CEO Jensen Wang, I believe is his name. It was his kitchen. He has a very nice kitchen, but it was a cool event because you just got to see his kitchen, and it was not informal, it was professional, but it reflected the reality we all live in now. And I thought Nvidia did a pretty good job of being brief. It was less than 40 minutes. The total stream, and being, announcing everything they needed to about their exciting new graphics cards. So as far as a graphics card event can go, I think Nvidia did a great job. Then let's talk about Apple, because this is why I'm making this video today. Apple just had their event, and to be honest, it was not the most exciting of Apple events. There were a lot of things like AirTags, a new HomePod, AirPod Studio, of course iPhones, that we expect them to announce later this year that they did not announce at this event. They mainly announced a new Apple Watch and a series of new iPads, the most exciting being an iPad Air that looks more like an iPad Pro. This was not a revolutionary event, but what Apple is so good at, as they always are, is making a story out of their products. At this event, they had so many people speaking about how a product saved their life, like Apple Watch, or how it changed their life. And if you're an enthusiast like me, to be honest, you don't really get much news out of this, but for the really mainstream audience Apple has, I think this makes sense, and they do a really good job with it. And the video quality was, as you can expect for Apple, after WWDC this year, excellent. Obviously, it's pre-produced, it wasn't actually live streamed, and they really took advantage of that. They had beautiful transitions between the speakers, they had beautiful environments because they're in Apple Park. I'm guessing this was filmed before those wildfires in California, so prayers and thoughts to there. Hope everyone's doing okay. But everything looked really beautiful with their campus and all that. So I thought Apple did an okay job for an event whose content wasn't actually that exciting at all. And that's my thought on the latest batch of tech events that we've had in coronavirus times. Hope that's been useful. Hope that's some food for thought about how, everyone in general can adapt to coronavirus, because these tech companies, they're big, they have lots of money, they have lots of resources. So for the ones that did good job, and for the ones that didn't, you have no excuse, do better next time. I don't know, that's my thoughts.